That blows. The wind blows, and today we are here to talk about racing in the wind. I am retired professional triathlete TJ Tollakson, CEO of Dimond Bikes. I've raced Kona many times. It's a question a lot of people have. How do I ride my bike in the wind? I've got some tips for you and some advice, and it's not just Kona that matters. There are lots of courses. Arizona's an Ironman that's coming up soon that's very windy on the bike typically. Lots of these races can be really windy. We're gonna have some tips today to get you through this wind as efficiently as possible. So it might blow, but it just blows a little less.
That's what she said.
So tip number one, stay Aero. Get in your Aero bars, stay Aero. Okay, this is important for a couple things. One, if you're riding into a headwind, it may seem just like you're climbing a hill and you may be able to get out of your bars and just start riding because you're going so slow, right? Wrong.
Wrong.
You're riding into a headwind, it's even more important to stay Aero because the drag on your body from the wind is going to make you go even slower. Stay in your Aero bars, okay? If you have a tailwind, should you sit up and try to act like as big of a sail as possible? No. Stay in your Aero bars. Why? You're still overcoming air resistance as well as having the wind push you. So which one takes more force? It's almost always better to stay Aero. The smaller the hole you can punch through the air, the less drag, the faster you're gonna go. So stay Aero. The next big question is, the wind's blowing me from side to side. I should get out of my Aero bars and hold the bars for stability. Wrong. Stay in your bars. Staying in your bars makes you go faster, okay? The faster you're riding in the crosswind, the more stable your bike is. I know this is counterintuitive. You think, oh, I'm starting to rock a little bit side to side. I should grab my brakes and slow down. Sitting up and or grabbing your brakes will make you less stable, not more. This is a huge one. If you can wrap your head around this and practice this, you will get much faster. It's the fastest way to ride. Into the wind with a tailwind and a crosswind. Next one, use best bike split. I've talked about this in a lot of my videos, but this is going to give you a huge advantage because it does a couple things. One, uses advanced weather metrics to show you where the wind vectors are going to be coming from on race day. Okay, it's not always right. I mean, it's using advanced weather. Secondly, it's going to give you a power plan for the race. Okay, and we're gonna get into this right now because this is a nice dovetail into the next thing, which is to use the power to your advantage in the wind. Okay, if you wanna do something really dumb, okay, this would be Lionel Sanders' last race against me in Ironman Arizona. You wanna do something really dumb, he had the same power going down the hill with a tailwind as he did going up the hill in a headwind. That's wrong. That's wrong. Don't do that. Lionel, you shouldn't do that either. Let's just think of this as absolute time, right? You're trying to get through the entire course, knowing that you have a set amount of power to exert as fast as possible. Well, if I'm exerting the same power uphill and downhill, I'm doing myself a disservice, okay? And here's why. Okay, I'm gonna get in my Aero bars, and when I'm going uphill into the headwind, like at Ironman Arizona, I wanna have slightly higher power. Best Bike Split can do the math for you and tell you just how much more power you should use. Okay, but you should use slightly more power because that effort is going to take you more time and you're going to be slower, but you have more drag on your body as you're riding into the wind. So up to 10% more power is used on that uphill, okay? Optimizing your speed throughout the whole course, okay? Next, on the downhill, we should decrease our power by up to as much as 30%. Here's why. Once you get to a critical speed, let's say that's 30 miles per hour, if you're putting out 300 watts and you're going 30 miles per hour downhill, how much faster do you think you're going than if you're going downhill with a tailwind putting 200 watts out? Here, I'll give you a hint. Not a lot faster. Okay, so Best Bike Split will do all this math for you, help you out, and show you how much easier you should pedal in the downhill with a tailwind than uphill into the headwind. And so if you use this tool, you can become faster and not make the same mistakes Lionel Sanders did.
It's on.
Now that we've got that covered, we're gonna look at the advantages of drafting / passing. I'm super against drafting in triathlons, but it's a part of the race. And when I say it's a part of the race, well, if you're legally behind somebody at the correct distance, the 10-meter distance behind them, you can get a huge effect. I know Ironman will disagree with this and say, oh no, Ford did some wind tunnel testing and they said it didn't matter. It matters, and especially if you're behind 50 people or 30 people. One long line, everybody traveling forward, the last person in line is going to use considerably less power, especially if you're riding into a headwind, than the first person, okay? Each person seems to get a little bit more benefit in that long train, okay? So it matters. So if you can do it, stay legal. I'm not telling you to break any rules. I'm telling you to play within the rules.
There's no rules! Let's just start back on. There's one rule!
It will make a huge advantage. Now the age groupers get an even bigger benefit because age groupers are allowed to slingshot. And what does slingshot mean? Well, but slingshot in bike racing and car racing means that you pull up behind the person, get in their draft zone, and then use that draft to slingshot around them. So legal drafting, legal slingshotting for age groupers. Pros are not allowed to slingshot. So a pro, you approach 10 meters, you first must move out to the side before you're allowed to pass. You can see there are some major advantages to passing and slingshotting. Now, Kona, notorious for the crosswind, right? Super dangerous, blows people off their bikes. The heavier you are, the easier it is to stay on your bike, okay? Secondly, stay in your aero bars, okay? We talked about that in step 1, stay in your aero bars, okay? I know this is counterintuitive. It feels like, oh man, I'm blowing all over. I gotta slow down, I'm starting to freak out. No, be calm, okay? One of the cues you can use is to relax your hands, okay? If you've got a death grip on your aero bars, you're hurting yourself. You're wasting energy, okay? Use your shoulders and your core body to feel the wind. And when it blows you, let it take you and keep that speed going. Keep pedaling, stay in your aero bars and let it take you forward. The best pros do this extremely, extremely well, and you'll see them flying down from Hawi in their aero bars, gusting from side to side with the wind, and it's a beautiful piece of art, okay? So the next big thing, right, in the crosswind, lean into the wind. If it's a gust, let it take you, okay? If it's a steady crosswind, instead of trying to fight it, just lean. Come on, just be Jay-Z and lean into it, right? And just ride at a slight angle. There's no better visual of this than when Norman Stadler won his first time in Kona, and it was a crazy windy day. He just leaned into the wind. His whole bike was sideways on the Queen K the whole time. It was beautiful to watch. It was amazing. Always be aware of your surroundings in the wind, okay? Look for pockets where crosswinds might happen, right? If there's a break in the tree line or shrubs, you know, a small valley, or what they call in Kona the saddles, that's where the crosswinds can really hit, so you can be prepared for that in advance. Having ridden the course many times will give you a huge advantage as well. So familiarity breeds confidence. The more you're familiar with it, the more confident you will be. And if you use Best Bike Split to study the wind directions for your race, you can be super prepared and know what to expect. It's not guaranteed. It's still just an estimate like anything else, but you can at least have an idea of what you should expect on race day, and that is confidence going in to help you perform your best in the wind. If you enjoyed this video, you want to see more of it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I've got all kinds of great Ironman tips on training, nutrition, racing, amazing content. I would love for you to join me on this journey. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check it out every week.